Fullerton and UC Irvine. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our good friend Carlos Hernandez, Director of Learning and Development. Thank you, Carlos. He's actually, I texted him this morning. He's pinch hitting for Cristina Fernandez, who's also part of the collaborative and was going to moderate the student panel, but was not feeling well this morning. We totally understand that, but we have Carlos Hernandez that will be doing a great job. So thank you, Carlos.
All right, thank you very much, and good morning, and we're going to move the mic so I can get out of the way of who is behind me. And again, thank you, Manuel, for giving us an opportunity to, we heard of the successes, we know the story of success on paper in terms of data, and this is amazing, but let's put a name to the success stories. Let's put a name to the journey and to the stories that we have before us. So I'm going to do a quick introduction, and they're also going to go deeper with that first question of introducing yourself. So Melissa Guerrero is over here at Anaheim High School. Melissa. I also want to give a shout out to, so she went to Sycamore. She went to Sycamore Junior High and also Horseman Elementary. So shout out to the entire feeder pattern, right? Woo!
All right. From Cypress College, we'll get to Haley Barcumian from Cypress High School, Lexington Junior High, and Coffin, and there's another elementary. Morris, thank you. Can't read my own writing. Morris Elementary. So she went to two different elementaries there, and then we'll go over to Lexington and then Cypress. All right. We have Ricky Roman here from Western High School, Orangeview Junior High, and San Marino Elementary, and Buena Park High School. And then we have Rosie Rizzo, Catella High School grad, South Junior High, and Roosevelt Elementary. An amazing group that we have of students. And so we're going to start with our first question, and we're just going to go from Rosie and then all the way down. So please tell us a little bit about yourself. We have your name, we know where you came from. Tell us about your college, your major, and then career plans.
Great, thank you. Hi everyone, like mentioned, my name is Rosie Rizzo. For my higher education, I did go directly to UC Irvine. So, a proud anteater, just very proud to also still be working and closely connected. For my major, I did major in international studies because I just found an interest for just like cultures and society and just learning a lot about inequities and communities of color and ways to, of course, support them. For my career plans, I would like to keep continuing doing the work that I'm doing. Eventually later on, just for context, I am a program coordinator for EAOP and working very closely to my own community, working with the school site. So I would like to keep continuing the work that I'm doing and just hopefully elevate within the work and the center, of course. So.
Thank you, Rosie. Melissa.
Hi everyone, my name is Melissa Guerrero and I am currently at Cal State Fullerton. I graduated from Anaheim High School in 2018. I am going to get a degree in Human Services this May, so it's very exciting. And currently, I think my career path is going to be with community engagement and community outreach, and I currently also work with Cal State Fullerton with Educational Talent Search as a college mentor, and with the program of AVID as an academic tutor.
Awesome, thank you, Melissa. Thank you. All right, we're going with Haley.
Hi everybody, my name is Haley. I'm a Cypress High School alum as well as a Cypress College alum. I am now transferred over to Cal State Long Beach where I am majoring in psychology. I also work at Cypress College as a student ambassador, so I do work very closely with all of the students. And I am looking forward to be getting my degree next May and continuing my education with psychology as becoming a sex therapist and working with people through sexual trauma and sexual education.
Hi everyone, it's a pleasure being here. I attended, so I want to start off with my junior high, Orangeview. Shout out in the back. Went to Western. Again, shout out to my Western people in the back. And then straight from high school, I attended Fullerton College. Did 2 years there. Transferred out. I'm currently attending Cal State Fullerton. So I'm a business major at Cal State Fullerton. Concentration in operations and supply chain management. Which is kind of the industry and the field I'm trying to get into. currently in the job search, so we'll see how that goes. I'm also a mentor with Denise, the Pledge Program, so shout out to the Pledge Program and everything we do at Fullerton College. Yeah.
Awesome. Perfect. Shout out to everybody. Thank you for that. All right, we're going to tug at the hearts a little bit. We're going to ask you to describe your educational journey and who and what made a difference and why. And I'll ask whoever's ready to share that question.
I can go first. So I think especially for who the people that impacted me, a lot of you are actually here today. I was just talking to all of you in the lobby and then in the room. And I think it's the people in the district that have personally impacted me because you've been there. I've asked you a bunch of questions. I've tried to figure out what am I going to major in, what college am I going to go to. I don't know what I'm doing. And, and a lot of you have helped me figure that out. You've provided the safe space for me to actually share these types of questions and to share all the concerns that I had, and it's a big thank you to all of you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Anyone else want to say? Rosie.
I could go ahead and share. So as far as my educational journey, I would say it really was molded and shaped at Catella High School. I was a puentista, so definitely had a lot of support and help through that sense with my Puente counselor, Ms. Pineda, who's actually here today, and also Ms. Diaz, who was our college and career readiness person at that time. I really got so much support and preparedness and just was offered so many resources that I definitely feel prepared me into my journey at UC Irvine. Just being a first generation student, I really didn't know, the college process, how to fill out a college application, all of those questions that are, asked. I was a little nervous and scared to just overshare a lot of information, but definitely felt comfortable once, just being provided with so many just resources and information and just preparedness, right, to just pursue my higher education. Going through Irvine, it was a little challenging again because it's a completely new system. I didn't have the amazing counselors and support that I had in high school, but I did have the resources and the ability to reach out, right, and communicate and ask for help. So that was definitely helpful for me. Once graduating from UC Irvine in 2020, I still came back to my community and I wanted to kind of ask for help, right, of what was next. So I reached out to a lot of my old teachers and asked for, just kind of an informational interview about the way, how they pursued their journey and how they identified the career that they wanted to be into, which eventually led me into applying for my graduate program that I'm currently in right now in education. So definitely, I have received so much help and resources from, my educators, my counselors, and my support here in Anaheim Union High School District. So definitely have a lot of thanks to give and just super grateful and appreciated all of the support I received.
Thank you, guys. You guys answered about 10 of the questions that I had, so I'm almost done. Good thing because we only have about 6 more minutes. Let's get into the pledge and knowing the pledge and understanding. You heard from the different structures and what relationships mean and matter. But how do you represent the first pledge graduating class? So what does that mean to you? Benefits, the partnerships that you guys started to describe, ensuring student success. What does that first class mean to you? Go ahead.
Yeah, I can start off. So for me, being a first generation student, college student, everything was pretty much new to me. Going to Fullerton College, I think it's important to have a face to what you show. And the first time I actually went to Fullerton College was a pledge coach. Shout out to Juan, who's not here today, but him helping me out throughout the process, the transition from high school to college really helped out. Shout out to Valerie here in the audience, being my pledge coach at the time, helping me out my 2 years there. It means a lot to be a part of something so special and being in this room right now, seeing everyone have a part of in it, helping my success, helping me be the first in my family to graduate, have any college degree really, associates and bachelors. So being the first in my family to do that, couldn't have done it without the help of everyone in this room. And the direct help of my coaches and my peers who are also part of the program, who kind of who walked me through it, and we've been doing this since Fullerton since 2018. So it means a lot to be here and share my story.
So I was pretty much lost my first year of college. college, and if it really wasn't for the pledge program, I think I would still be at Cypress College, unsure what I was going to do with my major or anything after community college. So without that support, especially from our Charger experience and our pledge counselors, I would be lost. I wouldn't know about transferring out to Cal State Long Beach. I wouldn't think that was possible. And without that kind of support, and I tell this to all of our students whenever I give campus tours, without the support that we provide, I wouldn't be where I am now. I wouldn't be getting my bachelor's, and I'm super grateful, which is why I continue to work for Cypress College, and I want other students to know that they're not alone in their education journey and that we're all here to help and support them.
Thank you, really. Paying it forward. The next two questions are really about advice. We have parents in the audience, perhaps some students that are going to hear from you. So what advice would you give yourself as a 9th grade student? So go back to 9th grade. What advice would you give your 9th grade self? Ready? Rosie? Oh, Haley. Haley's ready. She's ready. Go.
Don't be afraid to explore your options. Going to Cypress College, going to a community college really allowed me to explore my passions in psychology, and it gave a better foundation for me as a Cal State Long Beach student. It gave me better discipline and better work ethic. So without being able to have the freedom of a community college, especially Cypress Community College, providing so much support for me, I would be lost. So I really encourage for allowing your students to explore their passions, take different classes and have them get involved with those classes and those programs.
Rosie?
Yeah, I would absolutely, if I were back in as a 9th grader, I would say to, of course, take advantage of all of the resources that are provided and offered. So one thing that I've noticed within AUHSC is that there's so many resources and people that are there to help. And even though as freshmen, I remember thinking and would think that college was way down the line for me, but it's so important to start early. And to start, getting those extracurricular activities under your belt, gaining that experience, and just taking advantage of all this college knowledge resource, because it will just make you that much more prepared and confident when application season comes, when your time in college comes. You'll just feel so much more confident after receiving help from so many resources, all the partnerships. Not only from, for me as taking advantage of EAOP, but also educational talent search, Upward Bound, all of those resources are there for your students, so make sure to take advantage of them, because there are schools that don't have them. So definitely just take advantage of those and just milk all the information you could absolutely get.
Great. Thank you. All right, I think this might be the last question, okay? And this one is in all the audience, with many of us are partners. So let's think about educational partners, and that's really all of us. What advice would you have for our educational partners as they work with young people who are navigating their college and career journey?
That's a really good question.
I know.
I think one of the main things to remember is that the students are just as scared as we are to give the answers, because sometimes they ask some really difficult questions, and I'm like, let me Google some things, let me go ask somebody else. And I think one of the biggest things is just to know that we are also not alone when trying to figure out those answers and trying to find different resources, whether it's a scholarship or another school or figuring out what type of major they might be going into. But just understanding that we are also not alone, and that the students are just as panicked, I guess, as we are to try and figure out an educational path.
Thank you, Melissa.
Yeah, I think for me, something we should all kind of take away from this is that every interaction matters. No matter how small. I could think of back to moments stemming back from elementary, junior high, my time at Orangeview to Western, of moments that really impacted me. And maybe for the teacher at the time, it didn't mean much, but it's something I look back on now and I still remember it. So I think that's something that needs to be emphasized, that every interaction with the student matters. It could be the first time on campus, it could be the 100th time on campus, every time you talk to them, every time you see them. Just acknowledging them, acknowledging their problems, it's something that us as students look back on and we look at proudly, and we're here all thanking people that have changed our lives. I could thank all the teachers that have put me on this path, because without them, I wouldn't be here.
Absolutely. So advice for you all sitting here, I know sometimes it could be a little discouraging, right? If students are sitting within a presentation or a classroom and they may not be, it may not seem like they're taking in the information, but just being patient, being understanding that every student has a different life that they're going through, different challenges. I know we all are aware, but you know, as mentioned, every interaction does matter, and it's the littlest things that, even though it might seem like a student might not be, you know, paying attention or might not be just acknowledging what it is that you're saying, that information will be so useful to them later on down the road. And I speak on it on experience myself, where there may have been times when you know, I may have been zoning out within a presentation, but I remembered that information and recalled and was able to share it with my peers, my classmates, and was able to kind of expand on that like community cultural wealth in a sense, and just sharing information that was passed along to me. So just continue feeding your students and just your students, your kiddos with all of that useful information, because it is meaningful and it is impactful for them.
I agree with every interaction matters. Reach out to your students. I know a lot of us are very shy, very introverted, and we want to, you know, speak out and talk to you, go to office hours, or, you know, get help, but it can be really hard for us. So I would definitely say, you know, if you might see a student struggle a little bit, or they look like they want to say the answer, you'll know, and I think that'll be the perfect time to call on them and let them know this person is looking out for you, and reach out to them, you know, say hi, and kind of open that conversation up a little bit more.
Thank you. All right, well, we have seen, again, numbers on the screen and the slides from many of our partners. As we leave today, thinking about success of our relationships with the Pledge and our collaborative, these are the faces that we want you to leave with. These are the success stories, and we are very, very proud of each and every one of you. Ricky, Haley, Melissa, and Rosie, thank you for being here, and congratulations on your journey.
Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, students. Oh my God. Short and sweet, but inspiring, right? I don't think they could have said it any better. And just, again, it's the reason why we do what we do. So with that, and hopefully you're leaving inspired by the voices of our students, because it is because of them that we do what we do. I wanted to close with going back to September 27th of 2017. As many have already shared, this was a group effort. I think Rolando called it the Fab Five, and maybe it could have been the Fab Five with Rolando and Santana and Adriana and Evelyn and Melba, and I mean, you name it. And then in addition to that, there's an extended group that was part of that the 2 years really that it took to really identify. And they were struggles. They were struggles to really be mindful of what every word that was going to go on that pledge meant. Many talked about trust. Many talked about trust and building trust, because it started with that. And one of the things that we talked about in those days was, you know, we all have done this for many, many years. You know, Santana, many, many years have done this work, tireless work. Rolo and everybody, and we said, you know what? This is gonna end. We have to do something about it. If it's not us, then who? Then when? And so collectively, this came about. And you saw the results of it today. But it did start with trust, and it did start with a commitment that we can make a difference, that we can make a big difference for our kids and our kids in our district. So I want to thank Rolando and Santana and Adriana and Evelyn and all of you who were part of those days and struggles that we went through to get to that point. When you see the pictures of our institutional leaders signing, and I love the one on the left, I know you can't see it very well, but you see the excitement of our chancellors. You see the excitement of our presidents, our superintendents, our board members that were there that day, ecstatic to sign the pledge. Do you realize that when they signed that pledge, they had no idea what they were signing up for? They didn't. And those of us who were there, they didn't, but they were committed to the vision, they were committed to the mission, they were committed to the purpose that it meant. There was no strings tied to the pledge. Do you guys remember? There was no strings attached to it. But they were committed because they believed in you, they believed in our kids. And so that's what that meant, and that's what it means today. I want to end, as you've heard, I am retiring after 31 years of service, and all of you picked up a bracelet. And many of you who know me have seen that I have 2 bracelets that I've had, as long as probably many of you have known me, the last 7 years. The first bracelet I got from my daughter, who, as many of you know, she was a karate student, and she was, she did karate. Both my kids did karate for many, many years. My daughter was a national team member and was national champion in 2017. And she had these bracelets, and I put it on because it meant a lot and relevance to the work we were doing. And the bracelet says, 7 times down, 8 times up. You get knocked down 7 times, but by God, you gotta get up those 8 times. And it's a true reflection of the work that we do, that no matter what we do, we gotta get back up. We gotta teach our kids to get back up. Get back up, be proud, and move forward. And so every day I look at it, I remind myself of that, and I remind myself of the work that we do to never, ever, ever give up. And the second bracelet that I wear is the pledge bracelet. I put it on when we signed the pledge back in 2017, and I've never taken it off because I made a commitment to the kids that I would never take it off and that everything we did was for them. So I leave you with my bracelet for you to carry the torch and to make sure that you never forget our kids. Thank you. Have a great day.